Hello my eagle friends, wonderful to have you back. What's the show about today? Well, this time on Talented Talents 360 we're going to immerse you right into Alaska, into the deepest, most fiercest eagles that there are. This is what this show is about, to show you things that you have probably never ever seen before. The possibility that I've had together with Captain Jack was to fly far to the Aleutians and experience something like we've never experienced before. We've taken lots of footage and this is what we're going to show you. That's what the show is about. So all you live viewers, please engage yourself. We want to hear your comments. Be there with all your heart and soul. And all those replay viewers, please give your comments and let us know what you think. So let's immerse ourselves right into this. What you see in the background is some incredible footage which I already posted. So let's quickly jump into today's agenda. 1 second. Let's see where are we. Okay, here we go. There we go. So welcome to Talented Talents Live 360 again. So my guest Captain Jack Molan is waiting in the background. So I'm going to go quickly through the most important, and that is the Eagle News as usual, because that's what we're all about. So my team, first of all, the Talented Talents team, I'm just going to get myself out of the way here, make myself a lot smaller and even smaller. There we go. That's much better. Now you can see the name. So that's Nicole, Suzanne, Donabella and Jenny. Thank you for all the kind help that you're always given. You make this show incredible and you help me, especially with all the emails that are coming in. And I just wanted to show you something really, really exciting. A lot of the images that you're going to see tonight are really world-class images. I can tell you that those of you who are good photographers will know what it takes to take a good image. Well, there are two things. You have to be a good photographer, but you also have to be in the right environment. If you're in the right environment and you're a good photographer, then everything falls together. And that is exactly what happened here. So I've set up a Patreon site. I've completely closed down my image shop. And what I want to do is to ask you for just $2 a month, just $2 a month, to support me, and in return for $2, that's less than a cup of coffee, you can get the most beautiful images that you're going to see there, pure Alaska from wild eagles like you've never seen before. What's even nicer, you can own these high quality images. Every month I'll give you one for these $2. That's quite an amazing deal. That's your cup of coffee in exchange for a huge poster which you can print out in high digital format. And some of you can already, who have been on there, I won't mention any names, but so I see some of them have already seen what it's all about. And I think you won't be disappointed when you see this. So do join me on Patreon, support this. It's about eagle education, bringing awareness out and continuing the message of bringing the eagle, the wildlife community together to see what rehab centers are doing and so on and so on. So let's go quickly through some news. So it is Kevin who has helped me a lot in the background, set up a lot of servers. He does all this voluntary, by the way, as my team does too. So big compliments to them. So we now have our own website. And as you can see, if you want to support us with Nest information, there is a special link here. It's called Nest Submit. And we will give all those details in the chat. So that's the one thing. It's Sassemedia, web.sassemedia.com/web-submit. And then the most important, we love your images. We absolutely love your images and your input. The more, the better. And we will be showing a lot. So that's where you have another site called Video Submit. So please take note of that. Don't worry, if you feel unsure, you can still send them to the old link. We will catch it, but it helps us give even better quality to what you are bringing to the table, and that's a lot. It means the community, the eagle community, means a lot to us. So let's quickly go through the eagle news. This is beautifully done by Nicole. So there has, March, end of February, March is really the time where a lot of eggs are laid, and you can see from the 14th of February, there were 18 eggs, 18 eggs laid. And when I talk about 18 eggs, these are the eggs that are these are the nests, of course, that are documented, right? So we're starting. You can see there's a lot of triplets here. Isn't that fantastic? A lot of triplets. For example, in Avon Lake, Ohio, the Cora, another triplet, and then we have another triplet in Minnesota. We have and then we have another one here in Stanley Lake. And what's also exciting, BC is starting. British Columbia, my home place, is starting with Delta 2, two successful hatches, and you'll see them exploding now as spring explodes, our eagles explode too. So it's a really exciting team. Very nice summary. Thanks for that, Nicole. And also fledging, yes, do you remember our wonderful Northeast Florida? Congratulations, my friends, to you. Just as Delta here, you get the first eggs laid, your eaglets have fledged. Welcome and congratulations to Sky and Spirit to taking this enormous big step outside to the world and taking this fledging. Fantastic. So we'll see Southwest following soon. I'm quite sure we will. That's really exciting. And Dale Hollow, by the way, let me just see. Yeah, Dale Hollow has got a hatch too, and sadly, yes, sadly, DH4, that's Dale Hollow 4 passed away. That's really unfortunate. Shortly after it was born, it is presumed that there was some grass over the chick and the parent stepped over, which can happen. Unfortunate, but you have to remember at the same time, this is wildlife. We have to interfere as little as possible, as much as we get attached to our wildlife. David Hancock always says, from the chick that is born till the adult juvenile, only 25% make it. So even as juveniles, they still have a tough world ahead. And you'll believe me when you see some of the material that Jack and I have caught in the Aleutians, which is really eagle land wild, you'll understand the fierceness of eagles growing up. Yes, we have, of course, also the very sad news, and we mentioned this last time about the Berry 4, and Nicole has put together a beautiful page there as a remembrance, a dedication to Berry 4, who, as you know, fell out of the nest very tragically. I reported about that 2 weeks ago. So if you want to do some fundraising there, help some fundraising on the berry nest, you're most welcome to do that. You'll find more details in the in the link. I'm sure Nicole will put in the link, and if you have any questions, just write to Nicole. Well, that's a sad event, but it's very nice how the eagle community is engaged. So thank you for all the support that you're giving there. So let's jump right in. I'm going to get Jack in now. Let's put the map of the Bering Sea in the back, and let's see if I get Captain Jack live now. Let's see, Jack. Hi, can you say something, Jack? Let's hope we hear you now.
Yeah, you got me, I think.
Okay, seems we have good quality and everything seems to be fine. So I'm just looking at my team. If there are any audio qualities, please let me know, because I don't hear that all the time. It's quite important that that we get this right. So I'm just going to shrink both of us in the corner right now. So what we see there is the Bering Sea, and I think there's no person who understands and can explain the Bering Sea better that I know of. I've met a lot of people. Jack, this incredible area here is so much your home for decades, but I think you live in this. Can you give us a little bit of background about what is so special about this area?
Well, I do a lot of public speaking, and one of the very first things I ask people is, have you been to Alaska? And I'll usually get quite a few hands raised, and I'll ask, have you been to the Bering Sea? And I almost never get a hand raised. Or if I do, I say, hey, I'd like to talk to you afterwards. But to get an idea of where the Bering Sea is, I ask the folks, I say, how far north from Seattle do you need to go to get to the Bering Sea? And I'll use Dutch Harbor. I think you have it pinned there. Dutch Harbor is like the major port. So just guess how many miles north from Seattle is Dutch Harbor? And the answer is, it's only 300 miles, believe it or not. When we bring boats out of Seattle, we come up the Inside Passage, where you see all those beautiful photographs of whales and orcas and that sort of thing. And then we go west for 6 days, which puts us out west of Hawaii. We're 500 miles west of Kauai up there. So the Bering Sea is really not that far north. It dips down, the Aleutian Islands dip down as far as Vancouver Island, believe it or not. But it's the richest fishing grounds in the world. It has been ever since I think man has discovered it. An unbelievable amount of protein comes out of there a year. And you would think maybe the most productive fishing port in the world would have the biggest attraction for eagles. And that's what Christian has been able to see a couple of times now.
Very good. And Jack, can you tell us something also about the fishing grounds there? I think last time David Hancock briefly mentioned it, but I mean, there's so much going on in fishing, of course. That's the big thing. Well,
as you can see on this chart, it's curved like a necklace all the way across the North Pacific. On the south side of that chart, the bottom of that chart is dark blue, and that is actually a 25,000 foot deep trench. That trench is 10 times in every direction bigger than Grand Canyon, if you can imagine that. And then you have snow-capped mountains that make up the Aleutian chain that are 10,000 foot above water. So this is actually a chain of 35,000 foot mountains, if you could imagine that. It is hard to imagine. Now, north of there, you see the lighter blue. That's shallow water. That is the ancient land bridge. If it was to turn into another ice age and suck up all the water, they believe that's where humans have crossed up there. And it's very shallow, and the nutrition comes out of that deep trench, and it just feeds it with the Japanese current year after year, and the wind turns it up. And it's like the most productive place in the world for fish and crab and that sort of thing.
Right, that's a great background, Jack. So let's jump right into our trip. So it was 2 weeks ago we gave a broadcast to announce this, and on Saturday I just wanted to say, for me the most crucial part was getting to the airport. It sounds crazy when you're in Vancouver, but I just have to quickly describe this to our viewers because it's comical. I wish I'd take my phone out, but what happened was it snowed like crazy, and it never really snows in Vancouver. I mean, those of you who are in Pennsylvania and so on in the States who've suffered so much snow will think this is a joke, but for Vancouver to have snows like Seattle, we don't have very much snow, right? So that night it just snowed nonstop, and well, I didn't want to get my wife out of bed at 3 a.m., so I decided to get a cab. Now the funny thing is the cab was the most unsuited cab you could find in deep snow because it just had summer tires on, and the best part was there was an Indian driver, Punjab, and he was leaning back like this talking to me whilst we were sliding in the through the snow to the airport. I just thought, please don't talk to me, just keep your eyes out there, look ahead, don't. And he couldn't stop. He was interested to see what I was doing, and I thought I must better tell him the most uninteresting and boring things. I'm an accountant doing whatever, right? No insult against accountants, but just to get his mind off. But he wouldn't stop. He was always driving with one hand and talking like this, and we were virtually sliding to the airport. So once I was at the airport, the whole trip was just fantastic. And so let's dive right in there. So this is just to give you an idea now. Sometimes the footage can be a little bit jerky. That's because the computer is taking it from the hard disk. I got so much, but you can see what it's like to fly into Anchorage. Anchorage is 60 degrees north, so it's very much north. It's typically what you're used to in Scandinavia, Stockholm, Helsinki. They all lie at 60 degrees north. But if you go 60 degrees north in North America, it is completely different, right? So they don't have a Gulf Stream. So that's what it looks like. Quite spectacular. As you fly into Anchorage, I thought this is marvelous. At least I love this type of landscape. And then of course here I took my iPhone out, and guess who's there, standing in the background. There was Captain Jack, and he was outside the security area. Well, that's a topic for its own, but it's like going and immersing yourself completely into another world, because there's Pen Air. You have to look up what Pen Air is, but that's exactly what Pen Air looks like. They're just announcing the flight there. You can hear that, and you are now getting ready to go in another world. So you get on the small Saab plane, the Saab 2000, which with about 30
and there's no security.
And there's no security. Well, yeah, I know there are a lot of jokes there. Who wants to do anything? I read a lot of jokes on the internet why there's no security there, but it's true what Jack said. There's absolutely no security, and says who wants to go to Dutch Harbor, right? And in fact, that is so wrong. It is so
Ladies
wrong
and gentlemen, please make sure that all electronic devices are now turned off. Thank you.
Okay. Sound is low. I hope my sound is better now. It should be okay now. My sound should be better. But this is the approach into Dutch Harbor. It is absolutely magnificent. You know, it's really like flying somewhere else. And you can see us taking there the left turn right into Dutch Harbor, which has about 5,000 inhabitants. Isn't that so, Jack? Something like that.
Yeah, it depends on the season. Yes.
Yeah, on the season, of course. I'm talking about the locals, right? Yes. Yeah, but you're right, of course. But there we come to the runway. You can see the runway there. And there we land in Dutch Harbor.
Would like to welcome you down Alaska Dutch Harbor. And for your continued safety and the safety of those around you, please remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened until the aircraft has come to complete final stop. And the captain turns off the fasten seatbelts.
There's two eagles circling right on the airport.
I'm pointing at an eagle as soon as we got off the airplane.
What a beautiful day in Dutch, man.
And that's the plane, by the way. That's the propeller machine. Okay. Yeah. And then, well, you know, we were lucky. It's incredible. But for 1 week, we had only glorious weather, which is unheard of, isn't it, Jack? I mean, it was incredible.
That's our greeting at the hotel.
That's a greeting at the hotel. There's an eagle, a bald eagle, sitting on top. And you can see the moon there about 11 o'clock from there. You can see the moon. And you think it's all peaceful now. That's the way you think Dutch Harbor is. Well, then think again. Where is my second clip? I don't know where my second clip is, but somewhere. Oh yeah, here. No, this is going out again, but I don't know. My second clip disappeared. Oh yeah, here it is. Sorry. Let's just get it. Here's the second clip. 1 second. So there you go. Boom! The eagle gets kicked out. Welcome to Dutch Harbor. There's fierce fighting. You can see. You just hold your phone up and already there's fighting and everything going on up there, right? So, yeah. Okay, sound is better. Thanks. So then we took a drive out, you know, because the evenings are very long there. We're not on Hawaiian time, we're on Alaskan time there. And guess what we see right next to the road? So you can see how it looks more or less like Greece to me, the landscape. Only it's not like Greece, it's cold and very barren. And, you know, I think, Jack, you sometimes get asked, why do they do so much deforestation there? Maybe you can just answer that.
Well, if you've seen pictures of Iceland, it's very similar to there. The Icelanders feel right at home out in that country. No trees, all volcanic, you know, rough, wet, cold. Oh, there you go.
There he is. And there you see eagles bathing. You know, this is just stopping. And you know what's so different? If we had this in British Columbia or Florida or so, they would take off. They don't budge here. They don't budge. You know, this is just opening the window there and taking a look at our friend. And then we took a further beautiful drive along the coast, and you get these incredible views. Sometimes the video, as you can see, is a little bit slow again. The reason for that is because it's downloading from the hard disk. So that's probably also, it can't keep up with it. It's coming now. There's the next video. Yes, and there you can see my setup. There you can see two cameras, and you can see a typical situation there. We found a few eagles there at a small pond right next. And yeah, that's what you look for. You just look for agglomerations of eagles, or what you call them. Well, I forgot what the word was. There's a special, not a group of eagles, but there's a special. It's not a kingdom either. I think it's a kingdom of eagles. But anyway, you find lots of them wherever there's food or fish. You find lots and lots and lots of eagles. And this just shows you how close you can get. I mean, I got so excited because I couldn't believe how close I was getting to this juvenile. They don't move. I mean, I'm now about 15 feet away, getting closer. I'm glad I didn't bring my big lens with me. The biggest lens I ever used was a 300, and sometimes I had to use a macro lens because they were so close and they land next to you. Yeah. And you know, this is just, and you're basically all alone. I mean, Jack, I can tell you one thing is not a get us wrong. I learned that from Jack. It's not a tourist area at all. You have to have an expert like Jack to even get to the places, especially near the boats and so on. So without Jack, it would not have been possible, right? I mean, maybe you want to comment on that, Jack, because I think it's a common misunderstanding.
I joke that Alaska's like a third world country, folks. And Alaskans don't like to hear that, but Christian started seeing evidence of it after a few days. It's a third world country with money. You can, they can buy really nice stuff and high-tech stuff, but they can't get it fixed. They can't get it repaired. Nothing works. You can't communicate. You can't travel. It's muddy and dirty and wet and cold, and people think we are absolutely nuts to be photographing eagles. I mean, they just think we're freaks, so that's how it is.
And that's the same day, by the way. That's the same day. Look at this. I'm standing with my camera. I took the 300 off, I think, because I couldn't believe this. I mean, this was on a boat, and you're so close. The eagles care bugger all. They don't care a bit about you, okay? I've proven this 100 times, and you'll see some of the beautiful images that Jack took that I'll also show you. But this is typical. I mean, you get so excited, right? And this is a little bit loud, the wind, but it just shows you drive back. There's not much going on there. At the airport, you can see there's an eagle on the back of a pickup truck, and we would soon have those. We would soon have those on our truck soon, as you will see. And that's Jack in his favorite area, near to the near to his crab pots.
Oh, the gear pile, crab pots and nets. Yep, that's where fish hang out.
And there's so much gear there, and of course they're also eagles. So this is what Jack just loves. This is his his domain. So he's going up there. He's photographing juveniles, whatever, and they really don't move. It's quite amazing. And this is another quite remarkable one. It looks like instead of flags, they have eagles everywhere. It's always funny. I think the eagles outlast the flags. The flags get ripped apart. The eagles survive. So this is all taken with the iPhone, by the way. It's just remarkable. All this is iPhone footage. It's quite funny. Oh yeah, sometimes it's a little bit jagged, but then you can see it does get better. Let me just jump to the next one. Oh, and soon, this is the raid, and you can see the raid. By the way, I put this onto the Weather Network, and the network immediately wrote to me because they couldn't believe this. They thought it's staged. I mean, people thought this is staged, but this is a clip. You can see my finger up there. This is all taken with the iPhone. And Jack, who knows boats inside out, and he knows this this boat too. So we were lucky. We could go right onto the ship. And honestly, the eagles really, they really don't care. And you can see that's Jack taking a clip now. So a little bit, if it's a bit jagged, it's because the clip is like that, but because, again, the hard disk has a little bit of difficulties following it and broadcasting at the same time. So, but
you might tell him what's going on there, Christian. When I saw those eagles,
yes,
I told Christian, I said, that's a crab boat, and eagles don't hang out on crab boats. There's something going on here. So what had happened was the guys had just bought 10,000 pounds of herring in 50-pound boxes, and then I think they went to the bar, and the eagles started ripping the boxes open. So it was like a major party going on there.
Yeah, so that's it. And then comes this famous picture with a broom that I showed before, where you see them chasing away the eagles with a broom. I mean, can you imagine doing that somewhere else? People say, we'll sue you for that. Well, in Dutch Harbor, eagles are really aggressive. And you have to see, it's just very different there. And
they're not intimidated by you.
They're not intimidated at all. I mean, I remember last time one nearly landed on Jack's arm, right? When you were holding out the fish just for fun, and they don't care. They just land. They land on you. What I'll do now quickly is I want to show you some of the pictures, because some people were asking for the pictures. So let me just do a jump here. Let me see where we are, because we've got so many beautiful pictures. Yeah, there we go. So this is that is thanks to Jack. So you can see what the typical the typical environment was in Dutch Harbor. I mean, look at this. I mean, I'm sitting there on a bucket, and the juvenile lands right next to you and you don't know where to look. And I think, my goodness, I have my own lens on. I better put the macro lens on because you can't get that on a photo anymore. And that's, it's not a joke. It really, it's funny, but that is very much the way it looked. And this one is a beautiful picture on a stormy sandy beach taken by Jack. And you can see the eagle was facing the sand, you know, really it was a sandstorm, and I was turning away, so I was basically looking up to downwind, and I could, my equipment was getting full of sand. Even my Nikon camera, I had to watch it and clean it, and the eagle had no problem walking straight into the wind and seeing everything. So that is incredible. And well, you can see another clip here, again thanks to Jack. I'll show you a few, and this is all unbelievable. People have said, hey, you photoshopped this. I would have said that a few years ago, I would have. But in Dutch Harbor, you don't have to do that.
I like his body language.
And this is quite interesting. Maybe, Jack, you can quickly comment on this picture.
Well, first of all, I really want to emphasize all these shots down on the docks. You folks, you cannot fly out there and do this. These are all secure docks. I have clearance. I've known this guy for 10 years. It's like, I'm sorry, but they're not open. They're like going down to the longshore dock or something. They would not let us in, but I'm always able to talk to somebody. Somebody knows somebody. I'll tell you what, being in Dutch Harbor is like, well, you got to know. It's like going to Somalia or something. I know that sounds cruel, but it's just, you got to know somebody. So anyway, all these shots here are unfortunately not open to the public, but I'm able to take Christian in there because we're such a small footprint. That was the harbor master, the man in the bright yellow. I thought he was going to come yell at me for parking on the dock, and he came down and he goes, oh, this is a good shot. He jumped out of his truck and took some pictures of the eagles, and then we started up a conversation. So it's just one of those, another good moment there.
Okay, so let's just answer two questions. Gentleman Ghost is good to from New York, says, do the size of bald eagles vary by region? Imagine bigger there. Well, I can tell you absolutely yes, Gentleman Ghost. They are a lot bigger there. David Hancock already alluded to this 2 weeks ago, that it is very well known that in very cold areas the eagles are a lot bigger. They just need a bigger capacity to withstand the cold. And the other one, Beach Girl says, and Jack, you can answer this first. Beach Girl 75 says, Jack and Christian, about how many images did you each take on the trip? So Jack, why don't you start whilst I'll share some more images?
I actually shot less than I did the time before, I think, and I've had to think about why, but I shot about 12,000 images, and of course a lot of them aren't any good. I was there more to support Christian because he had this super slow motion camera and it took time to set up. Every time we walked somewhere, we had to look at the light, the wind. These things don't just happen. This picture right here he's showing you was totally set up with the right wind and the right light, and then the eagles cooperate. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, this is by the way, what I wanted to say. So I took, my media is 5,000 something, which is high. If you say, well, only 5,000 pictures. I took a lot of pictures, maybe 2,000, 3,000, but really high quality. I mean, this is the point. I concentrate really on high quality, and I took a lot of videos. And as Jack was saying, slow motion, and we'll talk about the slow motion later. But I just wanted to come back to Patreon because I saw some comments. This is the type of image that you will get. They are out of this world for $2. I'm telling you, for $2 per month, you're going to get this high resolution image. You can blow it up on your, on your wall in huge things. You will see the quality is really National Geographic quality. I'm not joking. It is. These type of images is what you will get for just supporting me for $2. Why am I so happy if everyone supports me with $2 per month? It's very simple. Because if you get 1,000 people supporting me, I can really get on with this channel, and I don't have to always put so much of my own money in to support, which I can only do for a certain time. I really want this to grow and to give you the ultimate experience wherever we are, to go on with education. So that's what I'm saying. That's the $2 value. You compare that to a cup of coffee, so I just had to say that. Okay, so do try and sign up for $2 a month. I think you won't regret it. Okay, so we'll go on. This is just absurd. This is me with the iPhone there, taking a picture. I was always trying to be at the same level as the eagles are. I mean, Jack saw me mainly on the ground, I think. I don't care about dirt or anything, but I spent most of my time on the ground. So it's quite incredible. I'm so glad that Jack was there, because I never have anybody who documents, well, at least the way I work. And then you could see I'm taking a selfie actually, which is out of this world. I'm taking a selfie, and and this is one of my favorite ones. I lie down flat on the dock, and I'm trying to take a selfie. I'm trying to give the perspective of the eagles, which I did then. I took videos out of the perspective of the eagle to explain how it all works.
Excuse me, Christian. I need to tell you all to watch any photos of Christian. He put his gloves in the door of the truck when we got there, and he never used them. He never wears gloves, and my hands are freezing with gloves on. So I think he's made to be a photographer.
Well, yeah, I hate gloves. I don't know why I took them, but yeah, I get my mind to it. But you can see this juvenile flying straight at me. I mean, if I zoomed in this juvenile, this is another of my famous $2 things for Patreon that you would get. I mean, the details are out of this world, and these are wild birds. They're not from a nest or something. These are really wild birds carrying a fish coming straight at you. With the resolution that those photographers out there, for you, I know there are quite a few watching this. You will understand how difficult such images are under normal circumstances. And of course, there was a lot of fighting, and I will show you some of the fights going on and why they were so fierce. But these are a lot of my images. But you can see, just to give you an impression of what was going on there, it's incredible. So I will make all these pictures available, by the way, as we go on. And this is just a beautiful one. You can see what you call that top of Jack.
That's a crane. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was at the herring party.
The herring party, yes. That's where I was at the herring party. And that's a beautiful juvenile, by the way. Yeah, someone's asking, why do they fight so much? Okay, I'm going to answer some questions now. Let's make a quick stop. So Gentleman Ghost was asking, will they steal human? Will they steal human food if not careful, like seagulls? Jack, can you answer that? You've spent so much time there. Oops, I think I just lost Jack. 1 second. I think I lost the connection with Jack. Not sure. He's back again. Okay. Oh, Jack, you're back.
I'm sorry, you kind of digitized on the question.
That's okay. Let's do it. Let's do it again. The question is from Gentleman Ghost: will they steal human food if not careful, like seagulls?
I've never known them to.
Oops, we're having some problems with Jack. Sorry. I'll just go on. I mean, they definitely steal a lot of fish if you're not careful within minutes. But they're not really like seagulls. So Maxine Wirt asked, does anybody have a count of the bald eagles in this area? The answer is yes, we do. And I will get more information on that. We went, I don't know where Jack is at the moment. Sorry about that. The connection is a little bit jerky at the moment. But I will answer the question. We had dinner with Pam Oz. If you haven't seen Pam Oz's exquisite eagle videos, she lives there, right? And she has a very simple means and simple camera, but you can see her raw footage of how eagles behave there. And she gave a lot of background there of how eagles behave. And there are about, I think her daughter is a marine biologist, and she told me there are about 850 resident eagles there. That's quite a lot in a very small area, right? So it's maybe not as much as you have in certain areas, but for a small area like that, that is a lot. And I will try and get more accurate figures, but oops, Jack is gone now. I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened there. Jack, I'll try and get him back in a sec. Sorry about that. I have no idea, but this is what can happen in a live show. Let's just see. He's back. He's back. Great. Jack is back. What? Jack, 1 second. I'm going to try and get you back again. There we are. Jack is back. Great, wonderful. Okay, so well, that's part of the live show. So, Maxine, the answer is she told us it was about 850 at least, and I think the number is higher. So Osprey Mama asks, Christian, I want to know if you or Jack saw any eagle nests. Oh, I can certainly answer that, and we will show you some pictures of those. But Jack, do you just want to answer on the eagle nest? I mean, you can say something on that.
Well, probably very unusual to everyone. There's no trees in this country. There's no trees at all. And so they make their nests on rocky promontories, very rocky cliffs, where they can get away from predators. And you can see them just as you drive along in a pickup truck. You'll see a couple of white heads and there's a big nest. So they're very accessible, but they're not, you can never walk up to them or anything.
Exactly. And I will show you, as you say that. So let me just blend in, let me just go on my other screen. I just want to show you an example of an eagle nest. So let's see if I find the picture. There we go. There we go. A little bit jerky again. I don't know. I think it's a little bit difficult, but that is an example. That is, for me, the most beautiful eagle nest in the world. As you can see, it's on a sort of almost on a conical cliff, and right on top there are eagles. And again, this is part of, I don't, sorry to go on about Patreon, but you're going to get pictures out of this world where you see an eagle nest on top of a cliff. Where'd you get this, right? So that's an example, Osprey Mama, of a beautiful eagle nest that we saw. And I have lots of close-ups here. I'm just trying to see if it is actually, here it is, there it is. Here it is. That's a close-up of the eagle nest. There you go. Isn't that beautiful? It's like a dream setup. It's like a Steven Spielberg setup.
I called it a Lord of the Rings nest.
Oh, that's much better. Lord of the Rings is. You see, Jack is the writer. I'm not the writer. Jack has, no, you are definitely, Jack. You're the great writer, not me. I'm no writer. I'm a photographer. But Jack always came up with these incredible phrases. So I think listen to the way he coins things. That's why you should read Jack's book. You should really read Jack's book. It's amazing. He can talk. He talks in writing. That's his language.
I think we could sell that as the state of Michigan. It's shaped just like it, with a thumb.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Good. That's an interesting one. That's an interesting. Yeah, breeding. Yeah, Osprey Mama is asking, is breeding good there? The answer is yes, it is good, and in fact, it is so good that, and I will try and bring you more information on that. But there's a definite conflict between people and eagles there, even during the breeding season. So even when nests are legally removed, and they abide by the very strong, very strict American laws on bald eagles, they certainly do, and they have a game and wildlife, not fish and wildlife. They have the game and wildlife there. So they abide by that. Even if they remove them, the eagles will quickly build another one. So there's a lot of competition for space there, also between eagles and others. But eagles, I hardly saw any big seagulls there. I think eagles would just catch them. You see these skinny seagulls just surviving, and you see these massive ravens, and maybe we'll find a raven picture now. But I hope, Osprey Mama, that answers your question. Oh. That's an interesting one here from Kathy Newton. So they don't use sticks for rails. That's an interesting one. Maybe, Jack, you can say something on that, on the nest. We've seen a few nests like that.
Well, up there, on top of that one's blessed with that tundra grass. And I think we rip it out and make padding. But in the other nests, they do bring sticks up from the beach. There's very few sticks on the beach. I think they're pretty valuable. But,
this is my favorite one.
Okay, I was going to tell you, Christian... Yeah, okay, go ahead.
No, this is so funny. I mean, can you imagine people taking a broom and chasing eagles away? They won't move when you go there. You need a broom. You need to really wave, because they were raiding the ship just as Jack was saying. And I've never taken a picture with a broom and an eagle. I mean, this just has to be phenomenal. This is one of a kind. Sorry, go on, Jack.
He's only about 10 feet away from that herring. The best food you could ever eat,
And these are the dream shots that some of the dream shots Jack and I. This is mine again. This is what you'll get through Patreon. But I mean, you get the lighting and you get the dream shots of eagles, on the beach. It's just incredible. And there you could see how close they were. They would take off right into your face. The problem often was just to get the focus right. So. Hey, we have some more questions. Let's see. Beach Girl is okay. Pat Elson was thinking. Yeah, they make their nests out of. They make their nests with sticks. They do. I've seen that. They take sticks wherever they can find sticks from the few trees that there are. They do find sticks, but sometimes it's just with grass, right? The breeding season is much later there. As far as I recall, it's May, June. It's quite late there. And that was Beach Girl asking. Terry Green was asking, what type of predators eagles have to be watched out for? Oh, that's an interesting one, Jack. Are there any predators for eagles except for, well, maybe man? I don't know. You know?
No, the Russians introduced the red fox into all the islands.
Yeah.
And they use the islands like just breeding grounds for red fox, and then they come trap them. And anywhere that the promontories weren't, that the foxes get to them, they would get to the eagles and the nests. So the foxes are probably the biggest predator. Other than that, no. I've never known, I've been up there for 30 years. I've never known anybody to injure an eagle or go after them. We all have to shoo them away now and then because we're working.
There's a fox coming directly towards me. It's very jerky again. Sorry about that, but that has to do with but that's a red fox coming, walking straight towards me. It's a wild red fox. Incredible. So yeah, that's the answer. That's a beautiful video. And again, I'll compile these into a nice Dutch Harbor video one day. Let's go on with some questions here. Let's see. What size are these eagles? They're huge. That's all I can tell you. 15, 16, 17 pounds for a female is, some of them is very common. And my goodness, I'll tell you a little bit about the group behavior. We'll get to the group behavior of eagles in a second. So that was a question from Maxine again. Juanita asked, do you have a $5 Patreon per month? Oh, that's a good question. Ooh, I have to look. I think I made it $2, $10, and so on. I think for I have to check, but I could, if that's something you want, I could introduce a $5 one for sure. Okay, that's my answer. No problem. I will introduce a $5 one. I've just started with it. So Gentleman Gabos says, wow, were the waves as big as they looked? Yes, they are very big waves. Huh? Those are massive waves. I don't know if you have any surfers out there, Jack, if you've ever seen any. I don't know.
Yeah, actually, there are a few.
There are. Well, there you go. So that's a good question.
I took Christian to that beach because we had the right direction wind, and he was thrilled, and we went back and caught him again the next day. So it's all about the wind direction.
And Kathy Adams has a very good question here. This is a good one. Trashed lines, nets, and plastic, do they kill them? What do you have any experience with that, Jack? Any?
I have a really interesting observation. When an eagle stands on the steel deck of a boat, I have pictures of it, his claws actually don't touch the deck. They stick up. And they walk on nets the same way. They walk on the pads of their feet with their talons sticking up. And I've seen them get hung up in nets, like with one talon, or maybe when they get shooed away by another eagle, but it doesn't last very long. They're very adroit. And I have never, let me think. The only injured or almost dead eagle I ever saw, my son actually pulled him out of the water. He had gotten waterlogged and couldn't make it to the beach, and they got a big fish net and brought him up and dried him off. But no, I've never seen a dead eagle on the beach or in the harbor from eating anything that I can think of.
Yeah, that's a good point, and we do know from the marine biologist. Erica Oz, right? That's her name. Erica, Pam Oz's daughter. She said that there is no rehab center in Dutch Harbor. If something happens, they get flown into Anchorage, which is quite interesting. I can get more information. These are great questions. This is one question I would just like to our team to please write that down. The one is about the number. I will come back with it. I think those are great questions. And I will reply to that. I'll write to Erica. She's really wonderful. And I'll get back to that. Thank you, Amanda. I just saw Amanda has very generously given $25. Thank you so much. I still need to join Patreon. Yes, you do. For all those, by the way, who have generously supported me in the past, I will send you some beautiful images in return. And I do keep my promises. You are not going to be disappointed, okay? So thank you so much. And she's just thanking us. So thank you for that. Here is another. Véronique. Christian, il y a beaucoup de naissances d'aigles. So she's asking a lot of birth of eagles in the there. The answer is yes. I would say the eagles are thriving there, Véronique. They're doing very well. Très bien. Bon. Okay. Jan is saying, are eagles protected in Alaska? Yes, the same way. Of course they are, Jack. Isn't that so? They abide by the same law. I think I've lost Jack again, but they have the same laws in Alaska as everywhere else. The answer is absolutely yes. And Pat Anderson saying, how many pounds can one large Alaskan eagle carry? You know, we had this question before. Yeah, Jack is gone for a sec. Let's hope he comes back again. So we had this question before, and I remember Lady Hawk making a great remark on this. There's a lot of misconception there. I think by body weight, it's somewhere around 25% of its body weight it would be able. Oh, Jack is back. That's great. 1 second, Jack. I'll just get you back on the screen again. There we are. So sometimes Jack gets a little lost and sleepy. No, I'm only joking.
That's normal.
Yeah. He comes back again. So I think the answer is around 25. That's still quite a lot what they can carry. It's somewhere 20-25% of their body weight. I remember having that interesting discussion with Lady Hawk. So I think that's about the right answer. I have to show you this beautiful image. Look what it says there. It says life. And look at Jack's expression there. And the eagles are not worried. He's standing right next to them. And this is really my favorite image of Jack. It's so superb. Jack, you have to show this in your talks, this image, because this is what life is. Yes, I completely agree. You know, you cannot take a better picture than this. I just love it. I just love it. And this is by the way, I have to show you. And those again for my wonderful Patreon supporters, I have to go on. But this is what I took with a 105 macro lens. The eagle was like this close. I'm not joking. I got out my macro lens and I focused on it. And if you zoom into it, you get details that are out of this world. I put the depth of field. I think I was running at incredible high ISO to get the depth of field with my macro lens so close. And the eagle wasn't worried, was looking away, and I had to wave like this to the eagle. Hey, look my way, look my way. And he would occasionally look my way. And I got some beautiful, you know, really beautiful images of this eagle. You can see the beautiful background and the depth of field actually that you can still get some background there, right? So, and that is just incredible, coming straight, you know, straight for me. The eagle trying to catch something or going on the back of some other eagle and so on. And they really look like huge bombers. Some of them are so heavy they can't take off. They eat so much. You remember that, Jack? They eat so much fish. They can't take off. They go. It's incredible. So it's really wonderful. I mean, you know. Sorry, go on. Sorry.
Somebody asked about buffer zones.
Go on. Say yes.
I've never heard of them except that I ran into this with whales as a captain. We were supposed to maintain a certain distance away from the whales. But just like these eagles, those whales would come right up alongside of us. We're just minding our own business. And they just come roaring up and then they hang out. So it's like, well, I guess they didn't get the memo, you know?
Right. And here's a question from Paul White. Paul White. Hi, Paul White. You know who Paul White is, of course. Paul White is this wonderful gentleman from Texas, just south of Houston, who I interviewed. And he gave the most wonderful interview. He's got this eagle nest in the garden. If you are the same Paul White, thank you for being on the show and thank you for watching, Paul. So Paul White's question is, with so many eagles in such crowded conditions, do they have an active territorial nature? That is, do they try to stake out a territory? The answer to that is during nesting season, yes, but it is very similar to what we see here in British Columbia, Paul, is it becomes very difficult to defend when there's a salmon run or you know, you have all these pollock runs there, especially when all the fishing boats come in. It is impossible to keep a territory then. And that's often where these very fierce eagle fights do happen. And they are fierce, Paul. They are incredibly fierce. I will get to that in a point. I'm so glad you brought this up. Because, Paul, we have seen injured eagles that are crazy. I mean, we have seen eagles where the top part of the beak is missing. How can an eagle not have a top part of beak? It was surviving. This bird cannot preen itself. I'm going to try and show you some videos of that. Hopefully, you know, during the live show, it won't be too sort of jagged. It should run more smooth. That's a little bit of my disappointment. It's not running as smooth as I want it to. But that's just one example. These eagles survive. Of course, we saw juveniles with a missing eye. We saw one that looked like, we called her bad face. Well, Jack had all these names, bad face, broken beak, and so on. And we recognized the birds. We recognized them, Paul. And we gave them names because they looked so distinct. Like, we've never seen that. So a lot of birds get injured, and there are fierce fights mainly for food. I think not so much for territory. That's my impression. A lot more for food. And they are fierce. If you look at some of my slow motion videos, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So I hope that answers the question, really. Let's see what else we have. Oh, that's just another nice image. This, by the way, is one that Jack took of me. That was on the beach. I'm using this, and now we're going a little bit into the slow motion stuff, because I just wanted to show you that Mark Horner made this beautiful edit of my slow motion. I took 130 clips, which is a lot, with a slow motion camera. Now, this slow motion camera is not like your conventional camera. It's completely different. You need a lot of experience to run it, a lot of patience and so on. I don't want to go into it, but it's a lot of work. Everything is manual, focus manual, everything is. So you have to really concentrate. And Jack knows I was working from morning till evening, non-stop. You know, we quickly went to the supermarket to get a donut, and off we were again. So yes, we had a lot of fun, but it was incredible concentration, because for that type of camera, you need a lot of light. And light was there. So we were there all the time till really the sun went down. So let's jump to the slow motion stuff. This should run. This is the one with, let's hope it runs. 1 second. Yeah. It's yes, here it starts. It starts now. That's a typical fight with broken beak. We call it broken beak. You can't see broken beak at the moment, but you can see the typical fight of eagles and a lot of wings. What is interesting about the slow motion footage, there's broken beak. You can see it. Look at there's only the bottom beak. Now, how does a bird like that even eat? What we found out. It's incredible. You have first the alpha females, and they're really bully alpha females. They are the first that get on. Then come what I would call the beta females behind that. And then comes the third rank, which are the alpha males. The smaller ones, they sit there. And the alpha, what's very clever is the way they would feed, and how broken beak would feed, is they would wait for the moment. I actually have the footage, but I probably cannot show it right now, but I promise to show some of the, to catch up with the footage so you can enjoy this. But what we found out is that the group behavior of eagles is very opportunistic, incredibly opportunistic. So what happens, whilst these alpha females fight, you can see the second or third rank comes in, and they quickly snatch something away. And broken beak would come in and quickly, put its beak into the fish and try and scoop it up like that. Absolutely phenomenal. And of course, broken beak was quite a dirty bird, right? Because it couldn't preen itself, but still it could fly. And I even have broken beak flying in slow motion. I mean, this is footage that is unreal. It's absolutely unreal. That's what makes us so exciting. So maybe that answers a bit of the question. Let's see if this one works. So yeah, this was the one. Oh, Jack's gone again. I'm sure he'll be back in a moment. But this is typical for, I mean, some people said, oh my goodness, how can birds be so brutal? It's not. This always happens. There's a big alpha female sitting and a juvenile coming in, and juveniles are not afraid, pushing it right into the water. It looks like they're nearly drowning it, but this all happens in less than 1 second. You cannot possibly absorb that, even if I showed you the clip 100 times with the video. So that's why the slow motion footage is so unique, so incredible, because you can actually see how quickly they recover. So Mark Horner, my friend, did this beautiful edit here, and this is a zoom in again, as you can see it coming in, and you can see the bird is anticipating it now, but a bit too late, and is rather risking to eat. What can happen during these attacks is the talon can hit the eye, and that's why some of the juveniles have missing eyes. So that's quite incredible. So whilst you look at that, I'm just going to answer some more questions. Kathy says, Kathy Adam, hi Kathy. Kathy's Thanks for joining my Patreon, Kathy. That's very nice. Some of these eagles live there year round. Yes, they do. I think most of them are actually resident eagles. That's my understanding. And Waterbug85 says, what percentage of eagles you see in Dutch Harbor are federal banded? Almost zero. We didn't see one single one. That's again because the game and wildlife branch there is, first of all, not as well equipped as the fish and wildlife is in Anchorage, and there's hardly any banding taking place there. That I know for sure. Okay, so we didn't see a single. I took thousands of photographs. So did Jack. We didn't see one single bird that was banded. Here in British Columbia, I would sooner or later have a bird that's banded, but not a single one there. So I hope that answered the question. Susie Q says, hi Susie, are the beaks more orange in color? No, I wouldn't think so. That has to do with the color correction here. So that's not the case. I just wanted to give credit to my friend. Look at this. Brad did this beautiful, he fell in love so much with this, next to the Cornelia Marie of this eagle taking off. This was probably a dream shot. Mark Horner edited it, but it was towards the evening, and it just came. Thanks, Mark. Great show. Mark is getting $10. Thank you, Mark. You really know my friend Mark. But look, this is Brad's beautiful. He did this. You probably remember Brad's channel here, iBrad360, and this is the video. That's what it's all about. So I'll just be quiet now. If you haven't seen this footage is out of this world. And you can see why this footage is just so incredible. Let's see if I can. I don't know how well these videos are going to work. No, we've looked at that one too. But what is so remarkable about this footage there is you had the light coming from the back. As I will publish more and more of the slow motion videos, some of it I'll do with Mark. He's got beautiful editing skills, really incredible, very very professional editing skills. But you will see the lighting and the details, and you will see the coordination of the wings. You will see the bones. You see even the way the bones move in the wing. You'll see the elasticity of the wings. You'll see the primary and secondary feathers. You'll see the tail feathers coordinating, and they're used almost like a pump when they go, when they go up. You can see that eagles fly backwards in wind, things that I've never seen before in very strong wind conditions, and so on and so on. And that's so remarkable to see, with a slow motion camera. I think the slow motion camera is probably the best that you have of both worlds, because you have your single image, and you see so many beautiful single images. And I'm talking to all the beautiful, all the ground photographers here that do all these beautiful images. And then you have the video, and then you have to slow down the video, but you can't slow down the video slow enough that you really see the details. So for me, the slow motion camera is the best of two worlds, even though it's very difficult to operate. I think that the results that I have in the slow motion camera completely exceeded my expectations. They're out of this world, and I can tell you I'm so excited because National Geographic is going to publish my stuff. I'll tell you all that already. So we'll probably see that next week. National Geographic was so interested in this, so you'll see some footage there, which is wonderful, of course. So anyway, let's carry on and see if I can show you something else. One second, Jack. Let's go. I don't know if if this will actually work or not, because we're having a little bit of problems with the video.
Is that
I'm talking there about my slow motion camera, but I think it's quite...
It's still a bit of a clunky box. Probably the first generation of high-speed cameras that is for the mass market. But it's fantastic. It's even possible. It takes a bit of time to boot up, and everything is manual. Focus is manual, it's got a touch screen and so on. So it takes a bit of patience, but the results are absolutely stunning. It takes quite a lot of practice, because it's sort of like the first
I'm talking a little bit quiet. The audio wasn't always great. But I think you get the meaning there. It's difficult to operate, and but the results are absolutely phenomenal. When it's really, when you start photography, you have to really concentrate on on the way you do things. I'm just trying to see if they're... Oh yeah, I mean, this is a typical nice clip. If you ever want to see, I mean, where in the world can you do this? Watch this eagle take off now, right? You see it in such beautiful detail. You can see how they really compress like a feather and so on. And it takes quite some time. We always think it goes quite fast. It's looking, and now comes the moment of takeoff. And it's just incredible. Look at the scenery and everything. Absolutely, you can see what the tail feather is doing, up and down at the same time, and then turning, so they can do incredibly complex flight maneuvers when they take off. And that's what I that's what I like so much. And here, this is broken beak, by the way, in slow. Oh no, I think I showed this. I showed this one. Yeah, sorry, there was another video clip I just wanted to show, because I'm not going to give away too much of that. You're going to see the rest of the main footage with National Geographic. Let me see if it's this one here. Oh, this is typical. Look at this fight here. I mean, this is just incredibly brutal. But you can see, you can see why also many juveniles don't survive. They are very brutal, and there's a lot of this fighting going on all the time. Sometimes it looks like they're doing it for fun, but that's how they behave all the time. So I have many such clips that just show the way they behave. It's quite incredible. Okay, buffering. Yes, I know about the buffering.
Right there, you see those claws? See how they're way above the ground? They walk on their pads, and their claws never touch.
Their claws never touch. That's correct.
They only bring them around when they want to grab something.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. So there are some more questions here. What's the wingspan of the eagles? Well, they're typically around 6-7 feet, 2 meters, and a bit more than 2 meters. So I'm 196. So I always say that's the wingspan of a typical eagle. Juveniles are a little bit bigger, and then their feather structure actually shrinks, and they become much more flexible as an adult. What was interesting, by the way, Maxine, what I observed there, we observed a lot. A juvenile seldom chases an adult, because adults are far more superior in the air than juveniles are, because their wing structure is more already like a jet, whilst the juvenile still has the wing structure to fly long distances, like so it has much broader wings. So they often give up chasing an adult. But they will fight fiercely on the ground, and the adults have learned to go to the side because they don't want to get injured. They have a lot of experience with this. Terry Green, I saw this from your post and thought it was fantastic. Well, thank you, Terry. Could you have a show on the physical forces needed to keep an eagle in flight? That's a great question. Of course, as you know, I love science, and from this you could probably do calculations. What I will do is let's do an estimate. I will do that together with the Science Institute. Bring this footage up. You could probably do a calculation. At what force? I mean, for example, when that juvenile pushes this adult right underwater, those must be incredible forces. It's almost turning the whole bird upside down. So it's a great question what force is actually involved at the moment. They probably do with their talons, they use them like a spring, and then in the last moment release them. You can imagine those must be incredible forces. Good question. I'll look at that. And Klingon Wardbird says, what brand is the motion camera? Can I just get it? 1 second, I will get it for you. I'll give it to you. Let me just give my friend... oh yeah, that's, by the way, the Nest. Let's see if I can get something quickly for Jack to comment on. Jack, do you want to comment on this one? This was a nice one of the Eagle raid. Okay, I'll be back in a sec. I'm just going to get the camera because of that question. So just hang on.
Comment on this picture.
Okay.
I'm really sorry, but my computer feed is so bad. It's all digitized. Oh, there's 2 eagles there. That's about all I can see, unfortunately. So, so I'll just make something up, you know. That's what I do when I do public speaking. I just make it up. Nobody knows if I'm telling the truth or not because they don't know what I'm talking about. No, I'm just kidding you. Christian's back.
Okay, 1 sec. Did you say something? Okay, there's Jack. I'm back now. 1 sec. I just need to put my earphones. They're a little bit cumbersome sometimes. So let me just plug this back in.
I need to tell you about that slow motion camera.
There we go.
It can be pretty frustrating because it shoots, and then when he thinks he has something, he has to hit the stop button and upload it, and it takes 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 minutes to upload. And in the same time, of course, you got more action going on. So he's just shaking the camera, going, "Come on, come on."
So I'm just going to quickly let's see if I can get this closer. So you can have a quick look. So. Just 1 second, Jack. You look very small, but that means nothing, right? It's just I just wanted to show this a little bit closer.
The brick.
Yeah, the brick. It's like a brick. It looks like a Volvo to me, right? The brick. You know, I lived in Sweden. I always drove Volvo there. Everything is called the brick. That's the make. It's a Cronus. I hope you can see that. It's a Cronus. That's probably a mirror, right? But it's a Cronus 1.4. This is a startup company in Vancouver, which is quite incredible because for years I've been trying to get a, high-speed camera. They are absolutely, you cannot afford them. They're 20, 30,000 and above. For me, that's completely out of the question. Because how are you going to justify and do a return on investment with that? But this Cronus thing, and is a superb camera. It comes from a startup company. It's the first startup company that succeeded in making one. The price is around $3,500 US, which is, well, you say that's a lot of money. No, it's not. What is quite remarkable here, with this is that you see, you have this SD chip. That's where you, on this chip, let me just put it towards the camera. On this, right there, gosh, I have to keep it. Yeah, you put your normal you put your SD chip in here, 16 gigabytes. And what happens is you have 8 seconds of footage. It continuously records 8 seconds, okay? And then you have to dump this onto that. It takes about 3 or 4 minutes to dump all these 8 seconds onto there. And that's a big struggle. And you have a screen at the back, an LCD screen, which is great to use. It does work well. But in the cold, it does become an issue. You know, Jack saw me often struggling in the cold, you know, because you can trim the video and everything. It's an incredibly successful camera because, you know, I was able to take enormous footage. It does work, but it takes a lot of patience. All focus is manual. You can have Nikon and Canon lenses, whatever lens you want. So since I happen to use Nikon, I have all my Nikon lenses that are compatible with this. It comes with a fan. It takes about 40-50 seconds to boot up, you know, and so on. Well, there you can see that's a chip there. But so, you know, you have to learn how to use this. Forget all your camera experience. It's completely relearning things. But I hope that answers your question. Great. Absolutely great. I mean, I'm so glad I bought this. That's all I can say. So, you know, heads up to Cronus, really. Okay, now I'm going to get myself out of the, there we are. That's back. So I hope that answers your question. I hope that a Klingon warbird. Gentleman goes, how do we find this location on map? How do we get on that location? Ah, well, Jack, why don't you just comment on how do we get to Dutch Harbor, right? He wants to know how do you get there.
Well, in my unwritten book, I have a whole chapter on flying to Dutch Harbor. I literally did have a kid that wanted to go out there and photograph eagles. And, you know, it seems like I keep talking this down, but I'm just warning you guys. He had 5 days total. He flew from Seattle to Anchorage and waited every day in Anchorage for the weather to get better. Some days they flew out there and couldn't get in. After 3 or 4 nights in Anchorage, he'd spent all his money and flew home. He never took his camera out of the bag. So flying out there is really rough business. It's the best pilots in the world, I think. And you're always thankful to get in and get out. I'll tell you that.
By the way, thank you for all your support. I'm getting a lot of very kind people. I saw Mark Horner, Osprey Mama, putting $2 in. Thank you very much. That is great. Thank you for tonight's show. Thank you, Osprey Mama. That is very generous. And here is another creamy, I can't read this. No, Oremum. Sorry. I'm reading this on the screen far right. Oremum. Thank you so much for the great support. I so appreciate it. To all of you, I will send you as a thank you. I'm going to send you beautiful high resolution images from here, and I will keep my promise. You will not be disappointed. I mean, these are world-class images. As I said, if National Geographic gets interested, there must be a reason, because this is just these are images that are and footage that's out of this world. So thank you so much. Really, thank you so much. Let's just see if I can gosh, we just have so many, so much beautiful stuff here. But I think, let me see if I can show one or two more clips here. That's fine. Oh, okay, Jack, got it. So we slowly have to close the show now because Jack has to go. So, you know what?
You can carry on. You can carry on that. I hate to leave, but I have to drive
Okay,
over.
Jack has to go. So I'll carry on for another 10-15 minutes. So Jack, thanks for being on the show. Do take Jack's book. He's a brilliant writer. I've spent a week with him. Again, there's no one who can formulate headings and phrases like Jack does. Really nice.
I didn't realize until I rode with Christian.
Really fantastic. I always let Jack, what heading is this? And Jack would say,
Right.
It's just incredibly creative writing. A very good writer of mine. So
thanks for having me, folks. Have a good evening there.
Yeah, Jack, thanks for being on the show, and thanks so much. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Fine. Okay, thanks. Okay, bye. Okay, well, that was Jack Molan. Fantastic, Captain Jack. I'm just going to get that out here like this. So let me just show you one or two final things. My goodness. So let's see if there are any more questions. How do we find this location on the map? So Gentleman Ghost is very easy. There's a flight from Dutch Harbor to Anchorage, but again, you have to plan this trip very well. It's not an easy one, right? I mean, that's also why I went with Jack. There's Jack's beautiful picture again. So let's just see if I can. I just want to give you super close. This is just so nice. Hopefully this won't be too jagged. But this was. You remember the iPhone that I was holding? I know it looks all jagged now, but that's because there's so much going on at the moment. The CPU is running it. But this is how close I remember this is how close I got with the iPhone. It's all taken with the iPhone. Isn't that crazy? So. Just fantastic. And he wasn't running away from me. We just saw some fish somewhere else and was going somewhere else. So that, really the experience is out of the world. And so is the scenery, by the way. I mean, the scenery is just so beautiful. It's Alaska raw. It's probably like very few places are left on this planet. Very few places are left on this planet. That's all I can say. Will I go again? Absolutely, I will. I'll tell you when my plans are there. So let's see. And I just wanted to finally show you. This was Jack in the car.
Okay,
probably difficult to hear at the moment, but we said
window.
goodbye to the eagles there.
Jack's looking, and there you can see that's the Cornella Marie. And right in front, there is a big eagle breakfast. Yep. So that's the typical view you get. Okay, well, anyway, we're going to go to the airport. So
we're going to leave all this.
We'll leave our eagle friends behind and say goodbye.
Adios.
Adios, my friends.
Yeah, that was a difficult adios. That was really a difficult adios. I get still shivers down my spine when I think about this trip. It was... my goodness, well, it makes my tears come. I really mean it. It's just incredible. But I think you believe it. It's, and it's so nice, even though this is raw footage and some of the videos didn't come out so perfectly, I think you get the idea, really, what's going on. It's just incredible. It's an experience, and I'm so glad that I can convey this to you, because maybe most of you won't have the opportunity to ever see this, but I do hope that I was able to show something of this world to you. Okay, Jerry has a question. Jerry Blankenberg, Christian, and eagle group in a tree called a communal roost on the ground. Oh, on the ground a convocation and in the air a kettle or bow. That's interesting. I didn't know that. So the eagle group in a tree is called a communal roost. Thank you. On the ground a convocation. I'd heard of that. In the air a kettle. Is that really a kettle of fish? It's like having a parliament of owls. Or boil. Thank you so much, Jerry. That's a great insight. I love these remarks. That's really funny. It's really funny. Really very nice. This is probably the most interesting stream so far. Ah, Bradley, my friend Bradley says, "It's nice job, Christian." Well, Bradley, let's say goodbye to everyone with your beautiful picture, Bradley. I'm so happy you're the youngest member and you're the next generation, and it's so wonderful to see young people in here. That's really what we enjoy. I mean, we have to pass on, and we come back to what David Hancock always says, to conservation and preservation of eagles and wildlife. That's what we all enjoy. So anyway, my friends, on this note, I would like to thank you from my heart and thank you for all the donations. And I think, again, come have a look at Patreon, please. $2, you will not regret it. $2 per month. You're going to get a stunning image, completely legal and high resolution. If you get any problems, you come to me. I know that image. You can go, you can print it out at Walmart in large. You can enjoy eagles like you've never seen them before, and you probably never will. Okay, so thank you for the kind support. And yeah, on that note, I wanted to say, I thought, why not do next week's stream on ground photographers? There are so many good ground photographers, so many good photographers. You remember, oh, by the way, Desiree's birthday today. Say happy birthday to Desiree. She's a ground photographer, a marvelous ground photographer. So there's Desiree. It's the 9th of March, actually my grandfather's birthday. He's long dead, unfortunately. But I was very close to my grandfather. He influenced me a lot. But that's also Desiree's birthday. So that's a good birthday. So congratulations to Desiree. I think she's in Disneyland. So a big Southwest Florida fan. Really wonderful. So we'll try for next week. If you want to be interviewed, please give us, write to one of us, write to, one of the emails that we gave. I would love to interview a few of you to put some interesting perspective of how you capture good photos of eagles. Why are you doing what you're doing, and why are you so good? That's what we want to convey, okay? So on that note, my friends, have a wonderful evening, a wonderful weekend, let it rock. And do watch out for the National Geographic footage that will appear sometime next week. I'm looking forward to that. That's why I'm not showing you a lot of clips. It's going to be a surprise. Well, half surprise now. And yeah, let's see if I can manage the most difficult parts, always stopping the stream. Yes, I can. So, my friends, on that note, have a wonderful weekend and see you again. And thanks for being here. Thanks. Thanks, everyone. Bye.